Okay, so if you're watching this video, it's because you are ready to add thread. So as you can see, this is my needle and I only have a little bit of thread left. Okay, so how do we finish? And remember, we're gonna finish without adding any knots. So this is what you do. You're gonna weave your thread inside your work in kind of like a circular motion. Not really circular because there are no squares, but you know, you can go up to like this, right? And then go down through the two adjacent ones. And maybe go through another bead. I don't like to use my edge beads to do this because it shows that the thread on the outside on your edge will look thicker and black, and I don't like that. So again, and you can go only one, you don't have to go through two. Be careful with this. Look what I did. I went on that side, and if I continue, it's gonna show thread in between those two beads. You have to go one first, okay, and then go down through the adjacent one, then come up again, maybe come up two this time. All right, so the idea is just to weave the thread inside. Once you think you have done enough, again, pull your thread. You're gonna grab your scissors and you're gonna cut like that. All right? And then we're gonna need to add thread. Well, to add thread, we're gonna follow the same process. I'm going to grab 1 yard of thread. I'm gonna thread it again. I'm gonna thread it using my needle, of course. And then I'm going to do, not necessarily a double thread, I'm gonna do the same thing I did before, right? Leaving a tail. So you need to remember, where did you finish? And if you don't, please take a look at this edge. High, 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 low. Oops, it's missing the high here. So obviously when I finish adding thread, I need to come out of this bead, okay? So let's add thread. So I go anywhere inside my work, close to where I wanna add. I will leave a little tail of thread. Look at it, here's my tail, and I'm gonna put my thumb on top of it so it doesn't move. And then I'm gonna start doing the same thing I did, and it's weaving this thread. So again, kind of like in a circular motion. And now I'm gonna try to move myself to get out of this bead right here. So let me go up this one. And look how nice I can go through these two, and I'm ready to add beads, okay? If the tail bothers you, which bothers pretty much everybody, just go ahead and do the same and cut it very close to work. And now you can see no thread, and you're ready to continue with the length of your bracelet. So just do a quick review. You grab a bead with your needle, go through a high bead, then grab a bead with your needle, like that. Now this return, let's add another row. Remember, try to put always your fingers on top of your work. so your work doesn't get distorted. And there you go, and then you can continue. So at this point, I want to make sure that you get a bracelet of the length of your wrist. Okay, and I will explain you in the next video how to add the clasp. Okay, see you then. Okay, so at this point, I hope you have your length desired. Let me just show you on my hand. I hope it's not out of focus. So when I turn it over, there you go. So it's something like this, okay? That close. All right. So what I'm gonna need to do is to add thread, to start adding my clasp, and on this end, I'm gonna add my loop. So let me start adding the clasp. But to do that, I want you to use double thread. So again, grab about a yard or a little bit extra. Cut. You're gonna now thread your needle. I'm doing it off camera because the camera's a little farther from me. But at this time, I want double thread, okay? You want double thread all the way double thread. Okay. So you're gonna add this double thread the same way we added when it was single. And again, you go inside the work. You weave your thread a little bit up inside, and I call it circular motion. I already explained it's not circular, but you get the point. I will put my thumb on that tail because if you pull too hard, the tail is gonna come off. So I'm gonna put my finger on top of the tail, and as you can see, I'm adding my thread, and I'm gonna position myself in between the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6, and that probably, let me see, I might want to go to, remember that you count rows in diagonal, yes? 1, 2, 3, let me go to the fourth one. Fourth row coming out of the fifth bead. Okay, I hope that is kind of clear. The tail go tangle a little bit. I can use my needle and pull it. And since it's bothering me, I think, I'm going to cut that thread. So I'm gonna cut the tail. And there are tools that help you to, sometimes you get a little tiny bit. If you can find, let me see, I see the tool somewhere close to me around here. Yes, this. This is a great tool to get, right? Because it will burn, you can burn all those little tiny tails in there. Again, this is a thread sap. Thread sap. All right, so I'm in between my fifth. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is my fifth. I'm gonna add 2 beads to give a neck to this crystal. And then I'm gonna go through the crystal. And then I'm gonna add 1 cylinder bead. Usually, I don't use a cylinder bead. I will use another type of bead to put on top of my crystal. But again, for this project, the idea is to learn, number 1, and not to get a lot of material so you can start. Okay, so you're gonna go back through the large bead, and what's gonna happen, that bead is gonna stay on top of my crystal. You see that? Okay, then what? Then you're gonna go through the first 2 beads you added before the crystal with your needle. Here's 1 and then 2, but you're gonna go through the 6th bead. It could be, remember, the 6th bead is not gonna be right next to it. It's gonna be a little below or above. I went through the one below. So, and now I'm gonna pull the top bead and then pull my thread. I just wanna make sure that it's centered, and it is, but I need to reinforce. I need to reinforce. There is a lot of pressure that goes, particular in the area where the clasp is. So how do I do that? I'm gonna go backwards, right? Backwards, I'm gonna do a U-turn. And then I'm gonna go through my 2 beads or the neck of that large bead, go through it, go through the large bead now, then go through the delicate or cylinder bead on top, go back through only the crystal, and then go back through the 2 beads that form the neck of that clasp. And then what do you think your job is? Well, start weaving that thread because you are done adding it. Okay, make sure it doesn't tangle. And now I'm gonna weave the way I showed you before on how to end thread. Okay, and that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. And then I'm gonna cut. All right, I'm gonna cut right there, very close to my work. Okay, so I have that already taken care of. Now I'm gonna turn over and I'm gonna add the loop. So with my same double thread that I already have in my needle, I'm gonna repeat the process and add thread to this end. Hold the tail. I'm going through my adjacent beads, trying to do and weave my thread in kind of like a circular motion, but not really. The idea is to go back and forth, okay, in many directions, so your thread gets secure. I think that's enough. I'm gonna cut my tail because I don't like working with the tail like this. It gets on my way. And then I'm gonna repeat the same thing. I need to position myself where my 5th bead is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I repeat the same thing. Now the problem is that now you're not gonna add a bead, you're gonna add a loop. So I usually try to add more that I think I need. You can always put thread on a loop and try to see if your bead will go through it. I kind of did a little test already and I think I need 16, but I'm gonna add 17. And since these beads are glass, 3, you can break one if needed. Okay, so I'm counting now how many beads I have in my needle. 3 and 3, 6, 3, 9, 12, 15, 16. Let me add one more, 17. And then, since this is the 5th, let me go through the 6th. come back through the adjacent towards me again because I need to return. Why do I need to return? Because I need you to reinforce that loop. So look what I'm doing right here. I'm gonna go inside all my beads in that loop to reinforce it. I want a strong loop so my bracelet will last. There you go. Okay, I'm almost done. Don't miss a bead because then it's not gonna look good. So, perfect. I went through the entire loop. Now that I did that, I would like to see, and remember guys, you need to have the loop and the bead on the same side of the bracelet, okay? That's important to mention just in case. So I'm gonna see if this loop goes through this bead easily. Well, not easily, you know, it needed to be like a wiggle a little bit. I think I can break one bead. I just want to show you how I do it. I just get a set of pliers. Okay. You don't want to cut directly like that because sometimes that will break the thread. But if you go on the side like that, you see I just broke a bead. And now I can pull tighter. Okay, and then I'm gonna finish weaving my thread to secure this loop. And again, be careful not to go straight. Look, if I go straight, I'm gonna show thread. I don't wanna do that. You kind of always go and travel with your thread and your needle in diagonal when you're weaving it. I'm gonna go this bead and then return through the same one from before. Again, there is no science to this. And then I'm going to cut. Okay. And that's pretty much your bracelet. So let me go ahead and put the clasp through it, okay, and show you. Hold on, I have to do it off camera. All right, so here is the bracelet. I'm wearing it. Let me move the camera a little bit. You can wear that bead on the side. I kind of like it that way. But here is your bracelet. You're done. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a lot. And I hope to see maybe your bracelet done, and you can just go ahead and submit a picture on the comments, okay? If you have any questions about this stitch, go ahead and send me a message and I will try to respond as soon as possible. Bye, until next project.